The next song is the inspiration behind a T-shirt that I made my daughter off of Pumpkin Drublet. Jeff wears Birkenstocks. I made her a tie-dyed Rancid shirt. I was literally like, wait, is that what that guy says in that song? And then I went and looked it up just to double check, and I was like, ha, that's awesome. Here you go, sweetheart. made her shirt. She was wearing it yesterday. We're really at the shit now, dude. Number 11, honestly, could have been in the top 10. Number 11 is off of Wolves and Wolves Clothing, which I think is just super underrated record, man. I don't know how else to say it. It's The Man I Killed. Boy, that's a heavy song, man. That's a really, really good song. It's kind of short, but it's just a very sad story that I really like sad stories.
I used to drive around. I'm a law-abiding citizen, except for that one that I killed. I just love the way he says. I love when he says like serious stuff in that comedic kind of way that he always does.
He does it a lot.
He does that all the time.
He's very good at it. So where are we at on your list? Have any of these made your list at all? Linoleum.
So Linoleum, my outside looking in list. I had My Orphan Year that you had. I had Punk Rock Elite. There's a few other that you said that I would have had, and then on my main list, I so far have just had Linoleum. Yeah.
Okay. So number 10 is off of Wolves. It's C and Double, the Triple Rock. Just I think anthemic. You're gonna see a trend in these next 9 songs of like, oh, I see the exact kind of NOFX songs that he listens to.
You like.
There's a very specific style of NOFX song that I love it. I'll never not love it. The lyrical content for the first time in my life isn't the thing I care about the most, because the melody and the guitar playing and the speed of these songs, it's pretty similar throughout. And I just love it, man.
That's a good album, man. That's a really good album. That song though is second place for me for next to Franco and American of NOFX songs that I skip, not because I don't think it's good, just because I'm kind of tired of, for whatever reason.
So it's funny because I thought that song was going to be that for me too, but I listened to it like 6 times in a row in the car. I was like, dude, I can't get enough. This song's so good.
The guitar is insane on that song too. The guitar is insane. I'm a little numb to that one too. And I don't really have a reason for that one the way I do with, you can see why Franco did.
That's how I feel about Linoleum. I've heard it a bazillion times. Is it actually their best song? Probably. It's not my favorite though. This is my top 10 list, not the top 10 list. So that's how I justify my spots, because it is my list. It's not the list. It's mine. Number 9 though is off of Wolves as well. It's Leaving Jesus Land.
It's on my list. Yep.
Dude, his like anti-religion songs, honestly, are probably the songs that keep me from going to church, man. It's stuff it's the stuff that he talks about, because it makes so much sense, man. Everything he says, dude, like I have my beliefs, man. But I question so many things. I see so much hypocrisy in these groups, and it makes me so sad, because my mom is such a great person, and she's one of the handful of people that I can tell you that she doesn't lie about anything. She doesn't judge anybody. She's just now she'll tell you what she thinks is the truth, but she doesn't judge nobody. And I don't see very many people like her. I see a lot of people that claim to be like her, but in practice they're not. And it just keeps me away from these groups. And maybe it's for the better, maybe it's for the worse. I don't really know. I tend to think it's probably for the worst, but it is what it is, and I can't help it when I go ask a legit question that they go, oh, and then they see the answer. They see it and they just won't admit I'm right. And it makes me so angry. Not because I want to be told I'm right, but because if they tell me that I'm right, they can then make some changes in these groups that would make it so much more comfortable for more people to come and be a part of it, yet they just won't do it because they're stuck in their own stupidity and they won't admit that, oh, maybe I saw it wrong. And I'm not even saying that anything in a book is wrong or right. I'm just saying that like a particular stance. And I want to get your input on this song. Actually, go ahead and tell me what you think about this song. And then I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about, because I want to hear your retort to my example, because I think it's one that makes, well, as soon as I asked and they responded the way they did, I left. And I want to tell that story. I want you to tell me what you're thinking about the song first, and I'll tell you the story.
So yeah, I had it as a top 5 song nice. On my list. It is in my opinion like the better version of Franco-American. To be honest with you, like it's like
Okay.
it just they're not even for what we're
Well, it's
talking
higher
about.
on my list than Franco
but,
is.
but it's a similar type of song, kind of similar subject
Yeah.
matter. But I just think it does it a lot better. Now, last time we talked about NoFX, I said I didn't like the way it necessarily framed a whole region of people as like dumb and backwoods, but I kind of revised that take. Not that I think people from the South now are dumb and backwoods. I'm not saying that, but like there are dumb people everywhere. Like they're like what he is talking about in this. It is not like I should kind of amend that because I actually agree with almost everything he says in the damn song. I just don't like that framing generally. But as I said, there are ignorant people everywhere. Yeah, it's more about ignorance than anything else. That's what it's about.
I used to think that it was pretty absolutely wrong until I moved out here in 2024. Or I guess I moved out here in 2023, but whatever. It's 2024, and I live in a spot that is a stone's throw from Houston, Texas, and I got my neighbor dropping the N-word in front of me like it's not going to offend me. I haven't been that angry in years. I don't get offended very easily. That shit offends me, dude. Like, not because you said it. You're free to say whatever you want. But because you think that I wouldn't be bothered by it is what offended me. And it made me really look at me. Like, okay, what am I projecting out there?
Why do you think we're cool with it? Yeah.
Yeah, why do you think I'm cool with that shit? I had a guy today in the comment section talk about Screwdriver. I listen to Screwdriver because it's not about the lyrics. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. If you listen to Screwdriver, I hope you never come back to my channel. Fuck off, dude. You Nazi fuck. I hate people so much sometimes. Okay, so
I love it. Thank you for that.
Bro, it makes me so mad, dude. Like, no, dude. Get that shit out of here. I got no place for that stuff on this channel. This is a positive place. It is a place for self-reflection. It's a place for unity, and everybody's welcome except those people. That is the one exception. I do not want racists or like shithead people anywhere near me. I don't have no space for them. Fuck off. Drown and die. I don't care. Okay, so number 8 is off of Coaster, The Quitter. You know that song?
A little bit, but of the Coaster songs, I listen to a little bit less, I would say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
For no good reason. It's just kind of,
Yeah, I think that one's just one that I find that I go back to a lot. It isn't that it's because it's super memorable, other than when I'm looking through songs to listen to, I go to that one a lot. And it might be a recency thing. My top 10, I think, could change a little. There's a few in here, like I'd say like my top 5 probably ain't changing. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 might change a little bit here and there, I would say. But The Quitter is such a great, just a really high quality song. Number 7 is off a double album. Do you know what song it is?
Off of double. Wow, your second double album entry.
I know, right? Crazy, isn't it?
Give me a hint. The album I know the least. Okay, let's see. What's
we talked about this dude at the Punk Rock Museum.
So we talked about this guy. Oh, Darby Crashing Your Party then?
There you go, sir. Now, it's not really the guy that's in the song, really, but you know what I'm saying. But we talked about Darby Crashing at the Punk Rock Museum a couple times. And that song is just really, really well written, man. It's one that resonated with me personally. A lot of these songs here are personal to me. So I wouldn't expect everybody to agree with their placement, but they're important to me. I think when I do the top 10 clip video, I'll probably cut out that long ass story and just let people. Well, I wanted to have,
it's more of a podcast than a video kind of story. Yeah.
But like, man, I just so appreciate you sitting through all that, man. And anybody that's listening still, I appreciate you sitting through it, man. It's very personal to me, and I think it's important to talk about things. And I don't think people should shy away from talk about that stuff. And I definitely don't think people should just jump up and shout in your face about their beliefs. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Like, people will hear just the slightest thing about any kind of religious stuff, and then all of a sudden their atheist beliefs come flying at you. And I'm like, well, I wasn't saying anything. I just, in passing, mentioned that I believe there's a God, and I'm the stupid one now. Okay. It's such a strange, and this is a strange band for me to love so much with the beliefs I have, I guess, but it just shows that I'm open-minded. At least I hope that's what it shows. Yeah. Number 6 is off of Wolves. It's USA Holes.
Yes.
I love this song. And when I was listening to so I had the playlist. I have a playlist for all these songs on Spotify. My son was sitting in the car with me, and it comes up on the screen, USA Holes. And he was looking at it, and I went, ha! And he went, what? And I went, USA Holes. And he goes, oh, because he's 10. So he goes, oh, that is funny. I didn't get it till you said it out loud. I like this band. And I was like, my man. So so now this song moved up a little bit just because of that. But yeah, it's a great song, dude. Great song.
I always felt like this was the real title track of this album for whatever reason. I feel like yeah. Is this the one they say the word wolves and wolves called in? No, it's not.
I think so, but yeah, this is definitely
to me like
the song that I think of on that album.
Because it's this album, and now some people will say like NOFX only did one political album, which is bullshit. All their albums have a lot of politics on them. War on Terrorism was very like outwardly, where you got a picture of George Bush on the cover and all that.
Right.
This album though is just as political as Terrorism. It just doesn't have the packaging of it, and it's post-election, so it's sad. Like these songs are more depressing than the War on Terrorism of like, this sucks, but we're gonna do something about it. The USA holds all these songs on this album have a kind of a dark cloud to the politics and all of them on this album.
100%. And I love the title of it too. Wolves in Wolves Clothing. Love it, dude. It's such a great title. And that cover art, I love it, dude. It's just so simple and effective. Like it's just like I saw it and I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, this is great. It's so sleek looking. It just caught my attention. It made me pay attention to it. The color is perfect. It's like tennis ball yellow. It's just like, oh, and it's dude. Okay. We're at the top 5. This is where things get heavy. And I don't have the Linoleum on this top 5, so we can get over that. Number 5 is off of Pump Up the Volume. I think this is a pretty popular song. It's Dinosaurs Will Die. I love this song, dude. Yeah. It's so good. And it's hilarious that they're the ones singing it at the age that they are.
Yes.
That's what I like about the song, is that it's hilarious and contradicting and hypocritic and amazing, like all at the same time.
But I would say NOFX ending their career now kind of proves that they didn't become the dinosaurs. That like being that they're not really coasting on their NOFX have been coasting on their past excellence for like a lot longer than a band that has been old. So if you want to accuse them of that, they've been doing that for a long time. So I would say still though that it still kind of holds up. And the song is about punk rock, in my opinion. It's always been about why punk rock is good. And for me, this was I think the first NOFX song I ever heard. I want to say it was on one of the Epitaph comps. And I might have heard another song here. It was the first one that really like stood out to me.
Yeah, so when you heard it, you knew who it was.
That's their sound. Yeah, and the way it starts out with that weird. Yeah, and I think Volume is a really specific. No, it's a great song. It's a very Volume is kind of a dated album. Not that it's out of date, but just a lot of that stuff is very relevant to that time period. And again, so I think of this song and What's the Matter with the Parents Today. They're both about like that rock revival that was going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, where people were going to go see like Ted Nugent and the Eagles and stuff. And it was like a big, basically that generation had finally got to like where you and I are now, how you and I are traveling to go see these bands from our youth. Like it was kind of in that position. And to me, that was our version, at least in my era, of being like punk rock, because like we couldn't ever be like the Ramones and the Pistols, where there's like Crappy Jefferson Airplane and these punk rock bands come around. Like everything's kind of cool in the 90s. But what does suck? Those bands from the 70s still sucked in the 90s. And Pat Mike had to point it out.
Yeah. Dude, I think that totally shifting the subject from the song to the album title, Pump Up the Volume, is probably my favorite album title maybe ever. It's the one that when I saw it, I audibly laughed out loud, and I was like, that might be the most clever thing I've ever heard. It's so simple, but it's so great. And the cover's just like this weird claymation chick on it with like pharmaceuticals laying around. And I was just like, I was already starting to struggle and experiment with things. And I was like, oh man, this speaks to me. And like, it's the one album throughout my whole life that's just stuck with me. And it's always there. No matter what I'm doing, I have a copy of that record. It is probably my second favorite NOFX record, and then Wolves is right after that, probably maybe Coaster. I'm sure that's the same top 4 I had on my list that we made, but maybe in different order.
I do think Pump Up the Volume. For one, I thought it was Pump Up the Volume for like a year and a half. 13-year-old me just thought it was
amazing.
But also, I think from like, you know how like sometimes the Grammys get the award for like best performance and whatever the hell that actually means versus best song. But I think this is their best performance on a record is on Pump Up the, like, to me, like they are in whatever if it's that 90s tech that I'm always telling about, it's their last album on Epitaph. They are really in sync as musicians. Like that, to me, it's just, they sound great. Like that is, to me, late 90s NOFX is kind of their peak, even if their songs weren't always necessarily at their peak in that time period. But that right there, that album, I think, is when they sounded and played like the best.
So I don't know if I agree with the late 90s thing. I think the like 2007 or so, like somewhere 2000 is probably my personal favorite. I think it's pretty debatable either way. I don't think that there's like a set answer to that. I think it's mostly preference. Like, what do you prefer?
As long as it's not the 80s stuff, then you're being
right.
a hipster if you say that. Yeah,
dude, people that tell you that S&M Airlines is the best NoFX album are literally idiots. Like, they're just dummies. Okay, so since we're in the top 5 right now, and we just said number 5, I want to point out that all 5 of my songs are off of different albums, and I didn't realize that until right now. But I'm really glad about that. I'm happy about that because, I don't know, I like variety. Number 4 is probably my favorite, like, political-ish NoFX song. I guess it has to be, right? It's We Call It America. We Called It America, excuse me, off of Coaster. Are you getting a sense of the kind of songs I like by them?
Well, so far you've like a lot of their late 2000s stuff, specifically from Coaster, and a lot of their political stuff. To be honest with you, the way you're ranting about not being into politics,
it's because of the way he. I guess this stuff fires him up the most because it's the best songs they've got are those songs, in my opinion. But it's like this specific type of guitar rhythm, this specific tempo they have.
Well, that's like the double rock kind of like, I see what you're.
All those songs are like my favorite NoFX songs. So it's like the subject matter of the song is secondary to just the sound of it to a certain degree.
What you're hitting on is kind of that core NoFX sound. Is like like what is NoFX kind of in the big picture, and it is that sound. That's a good representation.
I would agree with that.
That sound at its peak, I think. It's that sound like at its with all its songwriting strength and everything else. Yeah.
Speaking of Donald Trump, huh? I love that song. Okay, I'm gonna have to probably edit that shit out. Was that 120? Mac Miller, why'd you do it? Number 3, man, what a strange song to put at number 3. It's off of First Ditch Effort.
Okay, so that's one of my favorites. I didn't think you'd be anywhere near that.
Well, it's just the one song.
Can I get a hint? Give me a hint on this one.
Yes, Personal.
Personal. I'm so sorry, Tony.
No. When you figure it out, you're gonna go, oh, that makes sense because it's me saying it's personal means it's personal.
Okay, let me find the drug song. Hold on. Let me see. I have a lot of personal songs on these last 2. It's either we got California Drought, Oxymoronic, I Don't Like Me Anymore. 6 Years on Dope.
It's I Don't Like Me Anymore.
Okay.
That's my number 3 song. I love that song.
I love that song.
It's that's the kind of song that I'll cry to, and at the same time I'll sing it out really loud and like have a great time listening to it, which is super, super weird. But a lot of my favorite bands and favorite songs do that to me. So
I mean, it's a song that my kids know because I walk around singing it, kind of thing. And I love it. That's one of the ones in later period NoFX when he does that one live, because the beginning where he's just kind of talking. One morning I woke up and he goes through the whole thing. And I ever love the little thing where he's mad that pop punk claiming hardcore is one of the chorus lines that Karina sings. He kind of throws in there.
Dude, he says so much weird shit in his songs.
Oh man, even the way he delivers that. There's an old punk rocker acting like a jerk, and that jerk looks a lot like me. I love it,
bro. There's that song is so full of great, like, quick, clever, just, dude. It's like, boy, this guy doesn't miss a beat, does he?
And I think what it was is they had Tony Sly's memorial. Like every year, there's like a beach party for Tony Sly of No Use for a Name, and like and like Tony and Mike were like best friends, and like 2 years in a row, Mike didn't get invited to the memorial service, and I think it was pretty sour about that. Like Malvin, Smalley, they all were there, and Mike specifically didn't get invited. Like Mike gave Tony's eulogy at his funeral, and wasn't invited to these memorial services. Speaks to the behavior of Fat Mike in this time period too.
Dude, for real. Okay, the top 2 songs from NoFX. Number 2 is off of White Trash, 2 Heaves and a Bean. Come on, dude.
It's either Stickin' or Bob.
It's Bob, brother.
Bob. Bob's number 2 on my list.
Bro, how could it not be? It's like 2 or 1. Bob is
it's the other NOFX song. Like it's Linoleum, and that's
right?
the other NOFX song is Bob.
Dude, I had the weirdest interactions with people at work. So did I tell you about the old guy at the theater recently?
I don't think so.
But Bob, it pertains to Bob. Okay, so I'm at work and I'm talking to a couple, and like I'm bartending to anybody who doesn't know this. So I'm talking to a couple, and about, I don't know, 10 or 15 feet to my right, another couple walks up. But the couple I'm talking to are probably a little younger than me. I'd say mid-30s. This other couple, dude, they got to be pushing mid-60s. So they're like a couple decades older than me. I have on a black button-down Alamo Drafthouse shirt, unbuttoned, and underneath that is a NOFX t-shirt. They let me kind of wear whatever I want as long as my work shirt's over it. And I'm like talking to people, and I turn to the older couple, and go, "Hey guys, how you doing? I'll be right with you." And the guy goes, "NOFX," but the way he said it was like NOFX, like maybe he didn't really know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did like the double take, and I was like, "Yeah," joking around. I was like, "You like them too, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, I'm Bob." And I was like, "Huh?" And he goes, "I'm Bob." And I was like, "Well, that's not true, but what are you talking about?" And then out of nowhere, this 65-year-old man starts going, "He spent 15 years getting loaded." He sang the whole damn song. And I was like running around singing it with him at the bar, like loud, dude. Like I could not believe it. People were like looking at us all weird. And I hugged him, dude. I couldn't believe this guy knew that song. So he never really told me why or how he knew it. He got a beer and left. But like, it was one of the coolest things that's ever happened.
What a random editor. Like, who would have thought you would bond over with a 60-year-old man over NOFX? Like,
this guy was definitely a senior.
So, like, yeah, I mean, to the extent that he could have been like the same age as the guys NOFX when the song came out when he was like 20.
Bro.
So he's been listening to it all these years, or 30
Man,
actually.
I'm Bob, and I was so confused. I was like, "I don't understand what you mean, sir." And he's like, "Bob, like the song." And I was like, "You don't know that song. I thought this was some joke, dude."
Mm.
And I mean, he was like halfway through the song before I realized it wasn't a joke, man. I was like, "What is happening?"
I actually heard Rancid's version before I heard NOFX's version.
Interesting.
I had the BYO split before I heard White Trash. And then I like the NOFX version better, but the Rancid version is not bad either. It's a cool, like, the way they do the ska stuff.
Man, that split is so weird, dude. I need to make a video about it because that split is so strange.
It's wild.
None of the song choices make any sense.
And that's the one. Like I said, that's the first version I ever heard. But I love Bob's a great. I mean, number 2 on my list.
Yeah,
and
that song.
Even closing out too with on his first album, where Hefe was pulled into major duty on that first album to teach everyone how to make music. And he does the whole humming and all that there at the end and all that. And he talks about, so there is no trumpet in that end in the studio recording. He does the trumpet when he does it in person. The studio recording is just him making the impersonations, because along with being the talented musician, Hefe can pretty much impersonate anyone. And I think it is that musician talent that Hefe's big talent is he's got like the ear for music, like that true ear for music, where he can point out what's out of tune over there. So that's why I think he can do the impersonation so well, because he's so in tune with like pitch, just generally.
Nice.
As a person. Interesting guy, man. He went to not these music colleges. He went to actual colleges, but just studied music at like every different college. So he was just kind of the slacker dude that once he got to college, he was like, "Oh, I guess I'll go to college and study music. I'm hanging out with all these like losers." Again, not a punk. That's always the thing with him. He was just an LA guy, not a punk. Once he met the punks, after he got used to like their showering habits and stuff, he was pretty much fit right in. Like he always says, I would have been on a major label and made no money, and I got to be with this crappy punk rock band, and I'm set for life. Like it's so
That's
funny
awesome.
how
Isn't that
works.
amazing?
Yeah, because the band he was in before NOFX got signed to a major, but the major only wanted their lead singer. So it was like a Paramore kind of deal where it's like, we want you, but we only want him. And even that lead singer was trying to bring the rest of the band out as like a backing band on the road, but no, like they just, the label was just interested into the one artist. I forget what the artist's name was, but like Hefe tells a story, like that guy had one album, sold okay, but like didn't blow him away. So the major dropped him and all that. He's like, yeah. And we're here still, 30 years later in our crappy band making a ton of money. Yeah. That's crazy how that worked out.
Well, it's like, it goes to show you that like shooting for like to be a superstar isn't always the right move. Like just follow what you want to do. And if you can get to where you're making a living doing that, it's worth so much more than money.
Well,
At
it's
least
funny.
in my opinion.
No, absolutely. And I think about it. So like the decision to sign to the major, and the band was kind of splitting it. Mike didn't want to do it, and Heffa didn't want to do it. Mike didn't want to do it because Mike had the kind of the instinct of I can do that. We can do this on our own. And like he was right. And then Heffa just knew like we're not good enough. Actually, that's the thing. Like the major's not going to see us as good enough. We probably won't sell right away. You're not as cute as, and he said, you're not as cute as Blink-182. You can't sing it. Like it won't work for us. And for what Mike said, we'll be Jawbreaker. We'll come in. Our fans will hate us because we sold out. And then our record won't actually sell, and no one will like. And that's what happens to so many of those bands that go to that exact cycle happens. So we get lucky. Some of them, like Less Than Jake, you kind of catch on the way down and this and that. But that's kind of a part of it. They were still at least a hit when they were on the major. These bands that don't have hits on the major, they just kind of do nothing like that. They do distinguish. Yeah,
dude. It took Jawbreaker like 20 years to become liked again.
Yeah,
maybe not 20, but like a long time.
About this year's like the 30 year of 24-hour revenge therapy. And yeah, it wasn't until the last couple of years that people kind of like got over. But like it's funny because all these guys all love Jawbreaker, but like my generation didn't really absorb Jawbreaker because they were like gone by the time we came of age.
I think that part of the reason that they got some recognition again after so many years is because it's a whole different group of people.
Yeah.
It's a whole different generation, man. So,
plus, people just don't care about that at quite the same level that they did because those structures don't exist in the same way either. You know what I mean?
Right. That's very true. Let's get to it, man. What do you think my number one NOFX song is?
Oh, shoot. Okay. Give me an era or an album or something.
It's on Errorism.
On Errorism. Okay. I'm going to say the opener. Separation of Church and Skate.
That would be it.
Yeah.
It's a song that I can't explain to you why I feel the way I do about it, but the lyrics make so much sense to me, and it's a song that's very conflicting, and I think that that's important. I think that it challenges my way of thinking as much as it reinforces my way of thinking. And I think that, man, if you can get a song that does those two things, that's also catchy and fun to listen to, I think that's perfection. And while I love Linoleum and what that stands for and where that song's taken me and where it's been and just the gravity of that one song and the lyrics and the crowd singing it, for me and my personal experiences, the separation of church and skate is just so perfectly crafted that when I let people hear NOFX, that's the song I go to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's so well written and recorded too. Like just away from what it's about, and it sounds amazing. Starts off the album amazing. You got the cool bass line at the beginning.
Sorry, we just hit 3,000.
Yes,
let's go, dude. I literally like refreshed it. It went from 2,999 to 3K.
No, let's go. I'm gonna unsubscribe from you right now, so you go right back below.
Oh, you bastard! I got to do a live stream tomorrow. Celebrate, man. Tell my people thank you because this is a big deal to me, man.
Yeah.
I think this channel's just doing it, bro. It's working, man. It's working. So anybody still watching this long ass podcast, thank you, man. Bro, I freaking love our people, man. We got this group, dude. We got this little community going. We do, not just me. We do because your name gets brought up in the comments pretty regularly. So I like it when people don't pay enough attention to realize that this is my channel. On like, this is probably the wrong video to say that on, but like where they'll see this first. This is my channel. The Punk Rock Review is my channel, and they go, the guy on the left is blah blah blah, or the guy on the right. I'm like, bro, dude. I always tell you guys that's Rob Punk Rock. It's like he's got his own channel. Talk shit about me. I'm the Punk Rock Review guy. You can shit on me. Like, don't leave him alone. Like, yeah, people just don't pay attention. But man, thank you to everybody that's a part of this, dude. It takes a lot of people to make this work. So. But yeah, man, Separation of Church and Skate is my favorite NOFX song. Let me go through my 10 real quick, and then I want to hear your 10, and I want you to tell me a little bit about some of them. Number 10, I have Seeing Double the Triple Rock. Number 9, I have Leaving Jesus Land. Number 8, I have The Quitter. Number 7, Darby Crashing Your Party. Number 6 is US A-Holes. Number 5 is Dinosaurs Will Die. Number 4 is We Called It America. Number 3 is I Don't Like Me Anymore. Number 2 is Bob. Number 1 is The Separation of Church and Skate. Let's hear it for NOFX, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, NOFX. All right, let me put my NOFX hat on while we're talking.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and set that on after you're reaching your milestones and all that.
Yeah,
dude. PH Bottle Rocket.
I made this. I made this hat out of my Alamo Draft House hat. It used to be a Suicide Boys hat, but now it's a NOFX hat. And I'm going to be giving away this hoodie at some point. I said 5K, but it might be when I lose enough weight to where it doesn't fit me anymore. But it's going to keep the Rancid back patch. It took me a long time to sell this shit on here, too. So anybody gets this is going to better be nice about it.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Let me hear your top 10, like in its entirety. I want to know what you're thinking.
Okay, so let's get to like the top 11. I have, and these two could have been flips. I put them right next to each other from Punk and Drublick. Excuse me. I have Rico, a song that's always been one of my favorites. Kind of closes out the album. Again, another early political song by
Rico. I don't even know that song either.
Do the Aquarium. It's like that kind of ska.
Oh,
really,
I hate that song
about the toilet overflow, and then it goes fast. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, dude. There's a lot of stuff on that album and from that era that I don't care for. I don't like anything on White Trash hardly at all. So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes, I'm not really a big fan of. There's full like sections of their career where I just didn't care for their music much. I think when they refined their sound towards like, I guess, Pump Up the Volume, I guess.
You really like Valium through Coaster is really like
that's the 2000s my favorite,
basically. Yeah.
Favorite era for sure. But I don't mean like crap on your stuff. I just my personal opinion is that I like their more refined sound, I guess is the word.
So the next one has a very similar vibe from the same album called Perfect Government, which also starts out with that kind of slow ska feel and then turns into the fast punk song at the end.
Yeah, you like their more eclectic stuff.
I do, and I'm looking at this list, and it's funny because like that NOFX sound like you talk about is like my favorite sound in music, but I don't have a ton of that on this list, which is just kind of
dude. That
funny.
happens though. That'll happen, man. That's not even that crazy, I don't think.
Okay, shut up, Siri. Yeah,
our phones are just hating us today.
A lot of stuff is wrong. Okay, so then we go from there. The song that I mentioned earlier. Another song from later career, I'm So Sorry, Tony. Again, that might just be because I like No Use for a Name so much. But the song gets me really
that's not bad.
The song gets me sad though, too, not just about Tony. Because like I wasn't that big of a No Use fan like when Tony was alive. So it's not like I'm super like wounded by it. Like, yes, it's
isn't that weird though, how that can happen?
But also it's a very good song about losing a friend. So if you've ever lost a friend, like in like one of your peers like that, it will hit you like you wouldn't, you make me see myself the way I don't want to see
Ooh.
Again, I think I like those later period NOFX albums just because like they're kind of like old mature albums and I found them kind of at the right time. I think if like NOFX had always been my band for years and years and years and all of a sudden they had this mature stuff, it would be a little bit different. But I was already mid-career when I found NOFX. So I found them in the Aerism era where they were already kind of a little more serious. I had to go back to this other stuff.
That's gotta be weird because I definitely found them in the mid-90s.
Yeah, you found them more in their thing.
I didn't like them. Like, okay, I heard It's Like Live, and then outside of that, I didn't care for their full albums. Obviously, though, right? Like, I don't like those.
Yeah, you still kind of do it. Yeah. And see, I kind of met NOFX as like the behemoth that they already were.
Isn't that weird? How if you just change the date that you found them,
but
even though the songs are all the same.
Here's what's funny about that: you like all the stuff from my era of NOFX, right? And I like all the stuff from your era.
From my era. Hey, dude, music is a weird thing.
Speaking of. From Pump and Drublick, I have next on my list Lori Myers. One of my, I don't want to say it's an underrated song, but I'd say it's not even underrated. They play it all the time. I love when the Bob Pop Girl does it with them.
So different.
Yeah, sorry. I wonder. Also, shout out to everyone on the NOFX fan page group. Every time you take a picture with the dominatrix, you don't have to tag it with "Look, I met Lori Myers," but it's kind of funny that you do anyway. So from there, I have Leaving Jesus Land as you and I had. And then the companion to Leaving Jesus Land right before that from War on Aerism, The Idiots Are Taking Over, which lyrically is basically the same song, but I like Idiots just a little bit better. Okay.
Oh, really?
Now my top three, because I put Lori Myers in there twice, so I don't know. It's actually my top four, but it's my top three. Theme from a NOFX album from Pump Up the Volume. Oh,
you liked it that much?
Yes, I love that song. I absolutely love that song.
Holy
you know which one
shit.
that is.
Hold on.
And every member goes through all their stuff. You know what I mean? That's Smelly. He's got one big belly. Living the good life provided by Punk.
That is a top three.
I love that song. I can listen to that song. I love that song. Hell yeah. You don't like Theme from a NOFX album?
No, I don't even consider it a song.
You're missing out then.
A top three?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you said I really like this song, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. Whatever.
Yeah, just because
I don't feel so bad about my list anymore.
No. Okay, now, so I realized what I erased.
I don't say that to be like rude. That makes me feel a little bit better because we both have eclectic shit on our list. Then,
so I don't know because we talked about both these songs on your list, and I don't know where I'd put them. I don't know if I'd have Dinosaurs above Bob or Bob above Dinosaur. I think Dinosaurs is a better song, but I probably like Bob more. Like Bob's a funner song that I like singing along to more. I do think Dinosaur is probably objectively their best song. Like if you were taking it all objectively, I think Dinosaur might be just their their highest quality of songs. So I'm kind of splitting the hairs between the two of those. I'd probably put Bob at number 2 just for like its legacy and because I do enjoy it a little bit more. But that's kind of ask me tomorrow, and I might have Dinosaurs right above it.
That's how this whole thing is for me, man. Ask me tomorrow, I might just feel like listening to Birkenstocks over all of it.
Especially with the band like NOFX, that's so much. Like my Offspring list ain't gonna change very much if I do that next year. This list could be completely different next week.
Our next week's list, mine is pretty much set in stone. We're doing Blink 182 next week, and I only like about 15 of their songs. So I mean, not really. That's I'm joking, but like, if you want to say percentage wise, though, it's a much smaller percentage than what I have here.
Mm-hmm. And then
I don't think that there's 35 songs that I'd like to put on a mixtape from Blink. Sorry.
Ooh, shoot. Yeah, we're gonna have some differences on that. And I think you're a bigger Blink fan than I am, and I think we're gonna have. I think I like them more, and you're a bigger fan of them, if that makes any sense. And we'll discuss that next week.
Probably, yeah. I can dig that.
Which it's good because that's a companion piece to I think what this episode. I think NOFX. We always talk about NOFX 182. And
yeah,
we're like the key guys in making that sort of connection.
Yeah, I agree
on that. I have the Linoleum at number 1, though. I should say, as we talked about earlier, I had Linoleum at number 1. It started at number 1, stayed at number 1. All that, and it's not just because, like I said, all these songs I'm numb to, and then I put their most overplayed song, right there at number 1. So again, like you, total freaking hypocrite. But again, I'm not, maybe because it wasn't actually a hit the way like we think of it as a hit, but it wasn't. There's no video.
Because it was a hit. Because it was a hit to our people.
Yeah, it's their most famous song by far. I don't know if famous. More people probably heard maybe like Franco, but maybe not. I mean,
nah, dude.
No, because
NOFX was their biggest song.
I was thinking about is NOFX. They get this title. I think they're probably considered the biggest independent band like ever. Like if you can't consider Rancid independent, which a lot of people don't.
Which I don't understand that at all, but whatever.
I think that NOFX is like the most successful, especially in punk rock. I'm sure there's other genres. They're probably the most successful independent band of all time.
Just according to Spotify, which is only one source, Linoleum has 58 million almost. And what was the other one?
Bob?
No, you said it might be their biggest song. It was.
Oh, I was gonna say like Franco and American or one of those.
Oh, dude, that song's not even registered on their top 5.
What's number 2? Just for out of curiosity.
It's Linoleum, and then it goes to Don't Call Me White, and then it goes to Separation of Church and Skate. Then it goes C Double and Triple Walk, and then it goes to 6 Years on Dope, which I find incredible.
I think that's like what we talked about last week, just because like Spotify became a thing in 2013, and that album came out in like 2016. Yeah. So like guys like us, that was a lot of ways we checked out the new NOFX through that and stuff.
That's true.
Bob might have just been, a lot of people on
1.2 million monthly listeners on Spotify. That kind of surprises me.
Is that I don't really know the scale there. Is that good or bad?
I mean, to me, that's incredible. They're a punk band, dude.
Yeah.
Rancid has more.
Really?
Not by a lot. But yeah.
See, on I don't know on Spotify, like I consider Rancid a bigger band, but like on Spotify, I would think NOFX would be just on the dynamics of Spotify. But I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs there on.
It's close. Very close.
Yeah.
But like I was expecting Rancid based on their number. I was expecting Rancid to have like close to 1 million, maybe 1 million, right on 1 million, but they're at 1.3. So that's a lot of people, man. But dude, NOFX is such a good band. This was a long podcast, and I told a lot of stories, but I had a lot of fun. And I really appreciate just everything that we did tonight, man. It was a lot of fun.